as I watched the sunrise paint the sky in hues of pink and orange. I couldn't help but smile, thinking about my Mira. We'd been together for over a year now, and with each passing day, my love for her grew stronger. Mira had never been the kind of woman who believed in fate. She trusted plans, schedules, and lists. I, on the other hand, thrived on impulse, the kind of person who could decide to take a trip at midnight just because the moon looked pretty. We were opposites in nearly every way, yet somehow from the very first time we met, the air between us had been charged with an unspoken connection. It all began on a rainy Thursday afternoon. Mira was tucked away in a quiet café, working on her laptop. The soft hum of conversation was broken by the sound of the door swinging open, followed by a gust of cold air. I stepped in, my hair damp from the rain, my eyes sparkling as though I carried my own sunlight. I ordered coffee in a warm, lilting voice that mixed French and English without hesitation. Mira, who was sitting across from me, couldn't help but steal glances. Her gaze was a mixture of curiosity and intrigue. I knew even then that she was different from the people I was used to. There was a depth in her eyes that seemed to see right through me. Our first words were simple. I asked her if I could sit at her table because the cafe was full. She simply nodded, trying to seem casual. But the truth was that her heart was already doing strange things. My laughter was contagious. My energy was magnetic. I couldn't help but feel drawn to her quiet strength. And before I knew it, I was sharing stories about my travels, my dreams, and the places I longed to visit. She listened intently, her eyes shining with admiration. When it was her turn to speak, she told me about her love for photography and how she found beauty in the everyday moments. We talked for hours that day, oblivious to the rain that had turned to a soft drizzle outside. Time seemed to stand still, and as the sun began its slow descent, we realized that we had lost track of everything except the rhythm of our conversation. Over the weeks that followed, we accidentally ran into each other at the cafe more often. It was as if fate had a sense of humor and a fondness for bringing us together. Mira went on to tell me that she would purposely come to the cafe on days when she knew I would be there, and I wouldn't deny it. Each meeting was filled with comfortable silences and knowing smiles. We explored hidden bookstores, cozy cafes, and the bustling art markets, discovering new places and making memories along the way. I learned that Mira was a freelance photographer, capturing moments with a lens that seemed to see more than just the image in front of her. She saw the emotions, the stories, the connections. One day, I found myself standing in front of her apartment, my hands shaking slightly. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the sudden surge of nerves. I had been wanting to ask her out for a while, but the thought of what if had kept me holding back. I didn't want to ruin what we had. What if she didn't feel the same way about me? But then I looked up at the building, at the apartment with the peeling paint and the welcoming light in the window. I thought of Mira's kind eyes, her quiet strength, and the easy laughter that had become the soundtrack of my days. And in that moment, I knew I had to take the chance. With a deep breath, I knocked on the door. My heart pounded in my chest like a drum, and I waited. When Mira opened the door, I could only stare at her in awe. She looked beautiful, and I wanted to tell her that, so I did. "You look beautiful," I blurted out. A blush crept up her neck, and I felt a smile tugging at my lips. The rest of the evening was a blur of candlelight, soft music, and stolen glances. I made pasta from scratch, humming in French as I cooked careful not to burn the sauce. Mira sat at the kitchen counter watching me, her eyes sparkling with amusement. When we finally sat down to eat, our conversation flowed easily from light jokes to deeper, more vulnerable topics. We talked about our dreams, our fears, and the stories that had shaped us. It was as if the walls of my apartment were melting away, and there was just me, Mira, and the deepening connection between us. I remember thinking, this is perfect. And in that moment, I truly believed it. Later that night, as we walked along the Seine, hand in hand, I couldn't help but wonder how I'd managed to live so long without her. The thought of losing her now was unbearable. Every shared laugh, every quiet moment, every glance had woven us together in a tapestry of emotions I never thought possible. The first kiss came slowly, almost like a question. I leaned in, my heart pounding in my chest, and Myra didn't pull away. Her lips were soft and warm against mine, and I felt a spark ignite within me. It was a feeling of completeness, of coming home. We pulled away slightly, both breathless, and our eyes met. In that silent moment, I knew that this was more than just a kiss. It was a promise, a whispered vow of something deeper, something real. As the weeks turned into months, our love story unfolded like a well-loved book, filled with familiar words that took on new meanings when spoken by Mira. Love became a language we understood perfectly, a melody that played on repeat in our hearts. But love wasn't always easy, and we learned that the most beautiful journeys are often the ones that lead us back to ourselves. There were times when Viola's wanderlust threatened to pull her away, and Mira's fear of commitment held her back. Yet through it all, their bond only grew stronger. Viola surprised Mira with a weekend getaway to Paris, retracing the steps of their first date and creating new memories in the city of lights. Mira, in return, planned a photography exhibition for Viola's artwork, showcasing her talent and the stories behind each piece. As I write this now, looking back on our journey, I realize that love doesn't always follow a straight path. It can be messy, complicated, and full of unexpected turns. But through it all, I wouldn't trade my love for Mira for the world. She is my best friend, my confidant, and the one who makes me believe in happy endings. The thought of losing her still makes my heart ache, but now it's a different kind of ache. It's the ache of knowing that no matter what happens, our love will endure. As I continue to write our story, I am reminded of the power of human connection, the beauty of vulnerability, and the courage it takes to love and be loved in return. If there's anything I could tell my younger self, it would be to embrace the chaos, to dive headfirst into the unknown, and to hold on to love with everything I am. For in doing so, I found the greatest adventure of all, the kind that leads you home to the person you're meant to be with.